And, oh yeah, by the way, Eldrick Tiger Woods once again wins a major for the 15th time. I would like to point out that many of you have seen videos and read tweets from other analysts, other reporters, other opinionists, other people who have said they sold their Tiger Woods stock. Even through the darkest hours, I still believe that Tiger Woods could come back to this stage and win. And as I told you 100 times over, this network or either of my previous two networks, because that's how long it's been, right? Either of the previous two networks, that was 5 years at CBS, and my last year and a half at ESPN, he could not win. And I said, if there's a place he's going to win first, it is Augusta National. One, plays to his game because the rough is not so thick that if he goes wayward on a drive, he can't find a way to get to his irons. He's arguably the best iron player in the history of the sport. And even if you go back to the first Masters after he had the car accident, he finished fourth at Augusta, right? At his bottom, on a bum knee with a bum head and a bum heart, he finished fourth. So it shouldn't be a stunner. But considering, here's a guy who had to have fusion surgery. Here's a guy who's had a torn Achilles tendon, had knee issues. He's had sex addiction, if you consider that a real addiction. Don't know. That's another discussion for another moment, maybe. With all of that considered, a remarkable, remarkable comeback. But I think even more interesting is how everyone I know seemed to be cheering for the guy. And whether it was the moment of embrace with his own son and the thoughts of his embrace with his father, or whether it was seeing the red shirt on a Sunday and watching him do something that he had not done in previous major wins, which is come from behind. I think we're left searching for, hey, did I really just cheer for a guy who didn't sign autographs, didn't tip people, didn't seem to take his vows seriously at all? A guy who was driving under the influence less than 2 years ago. And why am I cheering? Like, I don't even feel dirty about doing it. I just had this feeling in my stomach. Like, I have friends, multiple friends, who were brought to tears. Jason Whitlock brought to tears watching Tiger Woods at the end. I'm like sitting there going like, how did we get here? I am not yet a Game of Thrones watcher. Okay. I am among that small group of people who I've actually seen the first episode or 3/4 of the first episode, and I'd like to at some point watch it, but I have not reached that point where I have to watch it. It was a couple of years after Breaking Bad finished that I went back and watched Breaking Bad. And I like Breaking Bad. It's not the greatest show of all time. It's an incredibly creative idea, and it was a really good show, and it touched on the darkest parts of people's souls and what they were, in fact, capable of. It was a great show. But I wasn't a Breaking Bad guy when Breaking Bad was Breaking Bad. I also wasn't a Mad Men guy. I don't know when Mad Men started. I don't know when it ended. But shortly after finishing binge-watching Breaking Bad, I binge-watched Mad Men. And I thought about Mad Men when I was watching yesterday. Because there's a scene, many scenes in Mad Men. There's a scene where Don Draper talks about the most powerful type of advertising. And I felt like it related very much to why we cheer for Tiger. We all like new. Everybody likes the idea of something new. And there were plenty of new, fresh faces. Even Francisco Molinari, right? Just what a great name, right? Just rolls up. Francisco Molinari. I like a Francisco Molinari. You're like, oh, that's kind of new. And Rory was new and fun. Jordan Spieth, remember back when he was dominating golf a couple years ago, he was new. Would I love new? Ricky Fowler still feels like he's new because he hasn't won a major, right? New is strong. New makes you excited. But there is something about nostalgia, right? There is something about, like, you're watching a father hug a son and you're thinking about your own kid. You're thinking about then you watch the father hug the dad, and if you've lost your dad, hand in the air, you think about your own dad. Half of the country's been divorced. We don't necessarily want to be judged by our actions that caused our divorce, and part of that draws you to Tiger Woods. You watch Tiger Woods take off his hat and you realize he's going bald. Who among us hasn't had some sort of recession on our hairline, if not losing our hair? Like, all of these things suddenly become relatable, even though I can't relate to Tiger Woods. He grew up 15 minutes from me. He was on a completely different trajectory. At 3 years old, he said he wanted to beat Jack Nicklaus, and now he's a couple majors away from taking down Jack's record. Tiger's lost more money than I will make in my lifetime. 10 times over. It's hard to relate to a guy, but then I pick apart different stories, and then I think about, where was I in 2000, the greatest personal season in golf? Because what Don Draper said in one episode of Mad Men was that as powerful as new is, new, fresh, innovative, nostalgia is even more popular.
Technology is a glittering lure. But there's the rare occasion when the public can be engaged on a level beyond flash, if they have a sentimental bond with the product. My first job, I was in-house at a fur company with this old pro copywriter, Greek, named Teddy. And Teddy told me the most important idea in advertising is new. Creates an itch. You simply put your product in there as a kind of calamine lotion. But he also talked about a deeper bond with the product. Nostalgia. It's delicate, but potent.
Delicate, but potent. It's layered with some negativity, right? Like, look, sometimes you think of things with your dad, and who among us doesn't have dad issues? You think about things in your past, and there are roses. There are thorns on every bit of roses. Not all things in our past are great, are glorious, and are wonderful, clean, pure memories. But you know what happens as you get old, right? Your short-term memory goes, and your long-term memory becomes even stronger. And that's what happened yesterday at the Masters. We've forgotten the DUI. We've forgotten my glutes aren't activated. We've forgotten the multiple swing coaches. We've forgotten the beefs with the caddies. We've forgotten the cattiness, or even dismissed the fact that, I don't know if you guys have seen the video where Molinari's teeing off and there's Tiger Woods in his eyesight instead of standing behind him, right? Which is kind of an act of gamesmanship, which probably did work. Tiger with the red shirt on, the most popular player in the history of the sport, just happened to make his presence known while somebody else is teeing off. That's not golf etiquette 101. But we dismiss all of that because of our nostalgia towards Tiger and how we look at it for ourselves. How did we suddenly come to love Tiger, who didn't even ever really love us back? I mean, take a listen to Dustin Johnson. Now, DJ has his own demons. DJ is a combination of Tiger and Phil, because DJ, who, grew up in South Carolina, a basketball player, a good athlete, got swag, beautiful wife, owned demons off the course, kind of some other weird stories about him, but he's got all the game in the world, and he remains remarkably popular. There's a difference in his popularity and Tiger. Don't believe me? Here's DJ.
It was a lot of fun today. You could hear the roars, and you can definitely tell the difference between, a roar for me or a roar for Tiger. But I had a lot of fun out there today. I thought it was a good day. I played well, just not quite good enough.
Yeah, not quite good enough. He was not good. He was great. Clubhouse leader, 12 under, setting the bar there, so we knew what Tiger had to get to, and he got to 14 and then survived 18 and taps in for a win. But if you want to know why we've come to love Tiger ahead of Ricky and Finau and Molinari and even Jason Day, I know he's not that young, but those guys are new. Those guys are new technology. Nostalgia is incredibly powerful. And whether we think about ourselves or about Tiger or about our own lives and how it mirrors on some level Tiger, or how we dream of being as good at our age as we were, as he was yesterday, that to me is why we suddenly love a guy, even though he's probably never loved us back. Now comes the question is, can Tiger keep this up? Right? There's still Bethpage Black, place he's won. And of course you got the British. You got Pebble Beach, where he dominated in 2000. What's the next mountain to climb, and can he continue to climb it?